morning I'm going to start a series. And I want to start off by saying is pretty much just put headphones on and go about your business, doing your own barn chores or whatever, because it's going to be more like a podcast. You're just going to be like watching me clean stalls, so you might as well just listen to it as like a podcast. I wanted to cover the subject of energy in horses. And maybe by doing so, I'll be able to help people kind of slow down their impatience, because horses don't receive information like maybe even a child, and actually children don't either. You explain something to them and it has to go through a process, and then maybe the digestion of the information could result in the action or the understanding. I'm going to go about doing my chores here. I wanted to talk about how when we tell a horse how to do something, and then how to wait for that information to go from our energy. So, for example, asking a horse to back up. It's kind of one that you can really see very well. And let's say we're going to do it with a wiggle on a rope. Okay, we're going to wiggle the rope, causing it to kind of make a little bit of a snake in the ground in front of them, and we're going to wait and see if they can kind of process, what am I supposed to do with the energy that you're providing? Now, as you watch the horse, you need to watch his eyes, how he interprets that movement of the rope. Watch his ears as he tries to figure out what's behind him, what's around him, can I leave? His ears are kind of telling you he's looking for an escape route. He's looking for a way to not be a part of whatever it is you're doing. Then watch his neck. His neck will then elevate his head, and then you'll start to see even more ear action. The more ear action is still him trying to figure out, should I leave? Am I being given so much energy right here in my personal space that I should leave? He's not yet thinking about stepping backwards. He's thinking about evading. He's thinking about going off to the left or to the right. Sometimes they even, ears forward would kind of give you the indication that their escape route might be through you. Okay, a lot of horses push against pressure. A lot of horses say, ooh, this is uncomfortable, and I'm going to go at the pressure. So, as you start to increase the energy, increase the volume, as I put it, that's another whole subject in itself, is volume. That's an actually important subject to cover, is volume, but we're going to cover this one. As you turn up the volume, your horse's neck will go higher. Your horse's hindquarters might get tight, but yet haven't made a decision to go anywhere. The message hasn't gotten anywhere but basically to the neck, to the ears, to the eyes, to the end of his nose. That's where the message is. So often people start to wiggle the rope, and they've seen that it makes a horse back up, and they get upset that the horse hasn't responded. I'm hoping to enlighten people in just the idea that the horse hasn't gotten the message to the part of the body that matters to make a backup occur. So backing up requires the message to get to all 4 feet. And in order to get to all 4 feet, we have to somehow explain to them that yes, you've interpreted this, yes, you've seen this, yes, you've looked for a way to avoid it, and backwards is going to be the right answer. The next place you want to see the message, the next place that you want the message to get to is his chest. You want the message to get to the chest. Then you want the message to get to the knee. Then you want the message to get to the fetlock. And before it can get to the front feet, it has to get now to the back feet. So once you see it in the chest, you want to see it in the hock. You want to see where the horse has leaned back and caused a not a void, but like a flex, I guess, like a bend in the hock, but not so much that it would be an obvious bend. So you'd want to see kind of a softening of the hock joint, where perhaps they would be considering bending at the hock. You then want to bring the focus back down to the fetlock in the front. That's where you're going to hope that that joint will bend. So you want the knee and the joint of the fetlock to now have the message. Now, do you know how to see that message? Flexing of muscle, softening of a joint. You know, like when you're about to bend your finger, like if your finger's dead stiff, and then you're about to bend your finger, you know how that joint kind of looks softer? It looks like something's about to happen. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the softness. You're looking for the horse. When you know they're about to do it, their toe will become soft. Their heel will become elevated. Their knee will become soft. And then that's when you need to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to need to quit in this very instant when that happens, when that officially happens. So you know, instead of getting impatient and waiting for the horse to just back up, learn when it's almost there. It's kind of like watching a stream of traffic come, and you know which one's the last car, and you know when you're going to be able to pull out, okay? And you kind of, you grip your steering wheel a little tighter, you get ready to move your foot off of the brake onto the gas. You have this anticipation of when it's your turn, when you're going to make your move. Well, start kind of considering as you watch the energy on the horse as that moment of, so I've seen this happen, I've seen this happen, I've seen this happen, and when this happens is when I'm starting to see the last car. This is when I'm going to start to prepare to say yes. I think that's going to help people slow down on being impatient. Not that people are very good at being patient with a line of cars coming at them, but the reality of, I have no choice, I have to wait for that last car. Maybe that'll help people understand that horses don't just take the information and go, oh yeah, okay, thanks. They're not, they don't have that kind of thought process, that kind of processing ability. They need it to kind of go through their body, and quite frankly, as you watch the message go, say through the neck, through the chest, like I start to tell the horse once it hits their chest that they're on the right track. So you'll hear when I work with horses, I'll say yes, 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 this way, or I'll say yep, yep, you're right. And when I do that, that encourages them. It's like a game of hotter and colder. It encourages them to keep following the path of whichever way they're going in their thoughts. And then you'll see horses respond pretty well to that. They kind of get the whole, yep, nope. If I wanted to do something that required them to turn their head away and they turn their head towards me, that's where you'll hear me say, nope. As soon as they turn it the other way, then I'll start with the yups, and they understand. But just know that the energy has to move through their body. The message has to get through their body in order for them to properly execute what you're asking them to do. Now, of course, once they know it, you can get more insistent and, turn up the volume and things like that. But if they don't know it, please allow your horse to run the energy through their body. I ask them to, say step back for the first time, and like I said, as soon as I see it in their chest, I'm starting to encourage them. I don't change my volume because they're already thinking. They're thinking. Like, don't get louder when they're thinking, don't you ever think about something and somebody's hammering at you about something, you're like, just wait a minute, let me think this one through. You want to just quiet them down so that you can let your brain work. Well, kind of think like that too. If your horse is on the right page, don't get louder. Don't be more insistent that they get it. Be more patient and allow them to have that clarity of moment and let them think their way through it. Horses will do anything if they believe in you. And the only way you can get horses to believe in you is if you let them have the time that they need to process things that you're trying to teach them, and you prove to them that you're not going to make them wrong before the message ever got there. And unfortunately that's what happens is, you hear that, oh, if you wiggle the rope, the horse should just back up. They should understand that, back up from wiggling the rope. And then, you just don't give them any time. Like, you went into it knowing what knowing what a wiggle should produce. Your horse just saw the wiggle for the first time, and he has no idea what the wiggle's supposed to produce. So don't assume that your horse has a clue, and give them the benefit of being a good teacher, and give them the benefit, be the teacher you would want, and let them think. And if you let them think, and take away from the end result, and decide that you're not going to focus on when he finally backs up, but you're going to focus on when the energy gets to the place on the horse that I can now say, I see it, and I'm going to help you stay on that path. Because once they're on the right page, if you're encouraging them and not scaring them, absolutely, your horse will always try. Your horse will always believe in your leadership, and your horse will learn faster and faster with everything you try to explain to them. You can teach horses to do amazing things as soon as they believe in your leadership, as soon as they believe in your teaching skills, as soon as they believe in your encouragement and not discouragement, your reward and not your punishment. Can we beat horses into submission and make them do what we want them to do? I've never personally experienced that, but I think that's an old school way of doing things. Myself personally, I like to have a conversation with my horse and say, okay, why are you struggling here? What part of this am I not offering you to make this easier for you to understand? As opposed to, come on, you dummy, right? We all have to take our tempers away from our horses because our horses don't deserve it. They show up. They show up sometimes because they don't have a choice, but they show up. Let's give them the best deal. Let's make it worth it to them to show up. And you might find out that the more often you make it worth it to them to show up, the more likely they want to be with you.